the same pasuk that she's commenting on says, "Tel Aron, you can't come into the Kodesh Kadashim." So what's implied? The first
Kodesh, yes.
no, the first Adarah that
Oh, he wanted
they went to Kodesh Kadashim. That's what I'm asking. That's what's implied in the pasuk.
And he says, no.
And he's like, no, that's not it. I know that's not the shot. I know nobody ever said it, but
Yeah.
it's implied
Yeah.
in the pasuk. That's all.
I would stop this line of questioning unless you had trouble.
Good morning.
So trust me, I know.
The rabbi will be in a second.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. I didn't close down.
Morning. Well, you're here a few months out of the year and in Turkey a few more months out of the year?
No, I'm here 1.5 week here, 1.5 week in Turkey, few days in Israel, and cycling.
Oh, wow. Just 1.5 weeks? Then Turkey 1.5 weeks?
Turkey 1.5 or 3 weeks maximum. Then I go see my son and daughter in Israel.
That's Murat. Hi, Murat.
Hi, hi Larry.
It's good to hear your voice, Murat.
How are you? Great to hear you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Rav Prague.
Is Mal on?
Not yet.
We would have heard.
If he was on, you would hear him.
Everybody says it's.
Rabbi Prague, could you adjust the camera, please?
Just summarize what we saw yesterday, then go. The Maran goes, yeah, he's a boy. He goes very off. He says he's off. He says, he runs his business.
Usually people are back this time of year.
Look a second again. You have the book in the Shulchan Aruch in front of you. Please open Siman Kuf Tzaddik. Has to recap. What do you want?
Another Florida resident.
There is a third one. Here, take this.
Thanks, Fred.
Kuf Tzaddik. Seif Tezayin. Basically, we started yesterday with the Chumash. But in the end of Parshat Acharei Mot, it says, Ish Shel Kol She'er B'Saro Lo Tikrevu. The question is,
I didn't hear you. Kuf what? I'm sorry.
Tzaddik 195, Tezayin 16.
No, I was thinking about that because I went to a funeral, an Ashkenaz funeral yesterday. And actually, I never saw that the Neftan never comes in. The body is always outside. So I was able to sit there with everybody else. And
Which
You
funeral
this
was
is a Richard Cohen. Eli Zami, maybe you remember from school. Eli and Shani, they were Flatbush. So
Of course.
Shani's father passed away. He was a great guy. Anyway, so first of all, they sit and everybody, they sit down and everybody stands online and whatever. And of course, everybody comes and they give a hug and, and all that. And think about, it's so contrary and it seems so, normal and stuff. But, and this is Ashkenaz and Sfarad, not just.
and nothing to do with Ashkenaz and Sfarad.
I know. It's just, this is the way our society has come to, whether it's
We're going to read the Shach again, then to read the Shach and Kuf Mitzrayim, then the Gemara. So please look again. We saw yesterday that the Rambam in Shimon Gimal Mitzvah, and then the Rambam Perek Chafar of Nisurei B'Yad tells us it's Isur min Torah to give someone a hug in a sexual way, yes. So and the Ramban strongly disagrees. It says it's a Isur D'Rabbanan. The question was yesterday, really, we rushed through it, is according to the Rambam, if it's not mamash derech hiba, is it still Isur min Torah or not? So let's read slowly. Tira Shulchan Aruch again. Seif Tezayin.
What did you just say? If it's still
not
derech hiba?
No, your grandmother.
that's what I told you about
Your grandmother.
funeral.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Everyone that goes to a funeral, you give a female a hug. What does it mean? If you talk to teenagers, they'll hear very good what you say. Remember, we are adults, we're looking at it.
What about, forget a funeral. What about if it's a wedding and you haven't seen an aunt?
No, we are trying to remove the guilt away, so funeral makes it much easier. Look at the שולחן ערוך. אישה חולה והיא נידה, אסור לבעלה ליגע בה כדי לשמשה, כגון להקימה או להשכיבה. בשולחן ערוך you couldn't be more specific. It's a wife, she has to find. ויש אומרים, this is straight Rambam. Now, here's the question, is he doing it דרך חיבה סמי? I mean, there is a wife is sick. She wants to sit down, she's lying down.
It looks like he's מחמיר אפילו not yet.
ככה משמע, לא. או שתגיד שבפנים, she's your wife, she's sick, she's this.
Any woman is
נכון, לא, נכון, אבל אני אומר אפילו, באישה חולה, you married 40 years, she's sick, can you please help me? הוא אומר אסור, זהו.
So culture can't estrange.
ודאי.
That's if she's in nida, though. What happens if she's old and doing?
No, he assumed obviously she's in נידה, yes. ויש אומרים, according to Maral, according to the Rama, you can take it from the עבירות, יום כיפור, the other עבירות, it's not good, but ויש אומרים, אם אין לה מי שישמשנה, מותר בכל, תחשוב מה שהוא אומר, בכל ככה, אם אין לה מי שישמשנה, וכן נוהגים, אם צריכה הרבה לכך. This is ממש the Rambam and the Ramban that we saw yesterday, yes?
How would the Rambam have a woman ever go to a doctor?
We'll see in a minute, see?
So the Rama went out of his way to word it less contradictory. In ish, meaning.
She really needs it.
No, in other words,
the Rama is
was talking about when the in ish. In ish, she's adding in ish.
Well, even the Rama is hinting, you cannot dismiss the Rambam. The Rambam is the Rambam. I'm just telling you, I'm taking the Ramban, it just technically posek amiti, I'm not disagreeing with the Rambam, but let's not use the Rambam in this case. So look at the next. See,
But the Shach has a great question.
we're going to read the Shach. I'm reading it only to read the Shach again. Then the Shulchan Aruch says, אם בעלה רופא, אסור למשש לה הדופק, yes? אסור למשש לה, yeah, he's only taking her pulse, yes?
Wow.
So says the Rama, now the Rama is consistent, ולפי מה שכתבתי, means, what I wrote a second ago, ונוהגים היתר אם צריכה אליו דמשמש לה, כל שכן דמותר, למשש לה הדופק, אם אין רופא אחר וצריכה אליו, so now he's adding something, yes? אם אין רופא אחר, צריכה אליו, ויש סכנה בכל יד, סכנה זה צד of סכנה, אוקיי.
He didn't have to add the words yesh sakana.
נכון, לא,
That's where he's weak.
But it's not a real sakana.
It's a tzad sakana.
It's not like you're afraid you're gonna die, otherwise everything would happen.
Yeah, so
Let's look now at the Shach. Let's read the Shach now.
Okay, Shach.
Look at the Shach, סעיף קטן ט', right? No, ט', you have it right there, on the bottom.
That's Yutet.
How's the Shach?
Here.
Shach is Yutet.
Shach is Yutet.
Okay, fine. יש י"ט, יש לך בכל. אסור לבעלה דווקא כשהוא, okay, the י"ט is talking in reverse. Whenever the husband is sick and she is healthy, right? Shama, we are more lenient because we are always more afraid that the men are more attracted. The guy, because he is saying if it's reverse, it's fine. Go now to Chaf. אסור למשש, ומי הוא? אם החולה מסוכן, ואין שם רופאים, משמע קצת, the Shach is speaking, מדברי תשובות רמב"ן, ישרי מפני פיקוח נפש. אלא, says the Shach, יש לומר דלטעמי הזיל, the Ramban is consistent, הסביר עלי, דנגיעת נידה, אינו אלא מדרבנן, yes? This is the Shach. אבל הרמב"ם, דנגיעת ערווה, אסורה מן התורה, הכה, in this case, אף על פי שיש potential פיקוח נפש, אפשר דאסור, משום אביזרה דגילוי עריות, וצריך עיון עד כאן לשון הבית יוסף.
צריך עיון.
בית יוסף.
צריך עיון.
בסדר, בית יוסף. וכן כתב, so remember, this was a quote, direct quote from בית יוסף. וכן כתב העטרת זקנים. Comes the Shach now when he disagrees with the בית יוסף. The Shach was 150 years after the בית יוסף. He is in the position of Ashkenazim many times to disagree with the בית יוסף. I disagree, he says. ואין נראה, דוודאי, again, the בית יוסף is telling me the woman is sick.
Who said צריך עיון?
זה בית יוסף, בית יוסף אומר. אומר השח, אני חולק עליך, אבל אני אומר ודאי מותר כאן.
אפילו לשיטת הרמב"ם.
אפילו לשיטת רמב"ם, this is the point.
בית יוסף is חולק.
After Rambam,
לא, השח חולק על הבית יוסף. בית יוסף אומר צריך עיון. ושח says, ואין נראה דוודאי, אף להרמב"ם לקה איסור דאורייתא. says, אכן דבית יוסף say אביזראי ודגילוי עריות. לא מתכוון תדע. אף להרמב"ם לקה איסור דאורייתא אלא כשעושה כן דרך תאווה וחיבת בייה, כמו שכתבתי לאל, סימן קנ"ז, מה שאין כן הכה. Okay, so he says, I believe that even the Rambam would say, so there's no issue deoraita, and if it's touching pikuach nefesh, even the Rambam would say mutar. Bet Yosef Isha b'safek, omer mutar. But he says,
Right, but what happened is there isn't pikuach nefesh, and there isn't derech ta'ava v'chiba biyah.
I mean, the real, again, he's only.
I mean, you say a grandmother, there's probably not much of a chance.
Unless it's not.
What would the
And he
Shach
throws it
say?
in these circumstances. Maybe he goes from Asud to Rabbanan to Rabbanan.
What would the Shach say? Okay, let's continue a second. וכן המנהג פשוט, remember this is in print 350 years, וכן המנהג פשוט שרופאים ישראלים, Jewish doctors, ממשמשים הדופק, they take the pulse של אישה, אפילו אשת איש, או עובדת כוכבים, I'll give you a sample, באמת דוגמה. I went yesterday to a skin doctor, she happened to be a female, and I see that she is very careful, she had to freeze, you know, I did say, fine. She says to me, what?
I'm not free to go to a man. I'll give you a good day.
Okay. Anyway,
Skin doctor.
there were two doctors. A religious female skin doctor. And
My wife gave me once a skin doctor. Lady, very pretty. I said, I'll give this to man.
So, but why didn't you choose a doctor that's a male doctor?
No. 99% of all the clients there are Hasidim, not like me. I'm a goy. Hasidim mamash, kacha.
With the
Oh,
leg.
stop.
And she says to me, "Can I just touch
Such
you?"
a good.
Asking me permission. זה
I'm
ממש
a skin doctor.
לא, אבל זה מה שלמדנו, there is a check to look at you, and yes, she's freezing it, right? She's basically spraying it with, she's freezing. But she wanted to touch, to see how big it is, can I touch? I said, you can, said, yeah, she asked me permission. So I understood that many Hasidim would say no.
Oh.
So I said,
You say no.
Why go to the doctor?
No.
Why go to her?
Yeah, if you're gonna say
Go
no.
to a male doctor.
Patient and doctors, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, but it's two female, dermatologists both happen to be female. That's a fact.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna go to Lady
I
Day.
used-
I'm not
I
gonna let it
used
touch
to
me.
be-
I hope they'll still let you go to Lakewood.
Right.
I hope you'll still be allowed to go daven in Lakewood.
So he's bringing a ayah from Yisraelim.
זה מה שהוא לא, הוא אומר Shach, which means the Jewish community is governed by halacha. Says this is the fact, yes? שממשמשים הדופק של אישה,
It's a proof that the
אפילו
halacha is
אפילו
mutah.
אשת איש או עובדת כוכבים, אף על פי שיש רופאים אחרים עובדי כוכבים. He's telling me that in this office that I went yesterday, would have a male doctor, I don't have to say, okay, let's
You don't have to ask for a male doctor.
וכן עושים שאר מיני משמושים על פי דרכי הרפואה, אלא הדבר פשוט כמו שכתבנו. Many years ago, I had a student from Staten Island here. Her mother, remember, I'm teaching a senior girl that her mother went to Flatbush and she went to Israel, like BMT for ladies. Machon Gold was for ladies. So she says her mother every so often tells her over the following story. She was walking in Geula as a typical American princess with jeans, and it was a rainy day, and she slipped into a puddle, not into the ocean, not into the lake, into a puddle in Yerushalayim, which means
Not a lot of water.
2 inches of water.
Yes,
Being the American Jew, she starts to scream like you know, pikuach nefesh mamash. She says in class,
The mother's telling
a
you.
Chassid, the daughter
No,
says
it's
with the
about the
mother.
mother story.
A Chassid passes by, are you okay? Yes. You think you broke a leg? She says, no. And she screams. And he says, I hope you're fine. And you continue.
Yeah.
She will never forget. She said, why couldn't he give me just a hand to pull me out of the ocean? I mean,
No.
no, but the answer is in the mind of American princess being, but this is a problem. She cannot forget it. So at that time, we really went through it. He says, believe me that the Chassid would definitely pick her up with 2 hands if this would be a lake. I mean, so I told him the Gemara, yes, but okay. Your mother basically was, you have to respect the girl, she was a typical American Jew. No, the answer is she's not used to see herself and no one cares. He cared very much, he spoke to you.
Okay, look, he's all this proof is for Ashkenazim. This is in Ashkenaz, in Krakow, this and that.
הוא רוצה לומר,
Maran is
הוא רוצה
Sfaradi.
לומר, נכון, הוא רוצה לומר שגם לפי רמב"ם, אם זה איסור דרבנן לצורך חולה, יהיה מותר. זה כל
No,
הנפקמינה
no,
האלה.
no, אין ראיה. All these doctors are Ashkenazim.
But what about a Jewish gynecologist?
Exactly. I mean, I have a very good friend and nephew. His father was a nephew of Nachum Zemba. He's one of the best doctors they met, Dr. Zemba. He's a doctor for men and women. He does whatever a regular doctor does. It's based on
Rabbi Prague, you know, you've taught us many times with Hilchot Shabbat. Sometimes if you have to do something, you do it with a shiur. Oh, wait a second. So I'm looking at the Pitkei Tshuva, going back to the pulse. So he says you put a hefsek between you and the woman's thing, and you take a pulse with a hefsek in between.
last night, באמת, it took me half an hour to sit there with it. I took them after, you know, they have to now have an index of all the Tshuvot that Chacham Ovadia published ever. So I looked at this topic. So there's 6, one question.
6 Teshuvot.
Look how far it goes. But I mean, you never spoke directly shaking a woman's hand, but Teshuvot are real. The Teshuvah here, a woman is receiving, 4 pages. A woman is receiving chalitza. Chalitza, right? From whom? From her brother. Her brother-in-law is definitely arayot. The question is, if she is nida, can she pull the shoe off his leg?
Shoot, not even touching his body.
What's your question? Shema Tov Od Pam, what is the woman doing? Which he says verbally, but she has to pull the shoe from his leg.
So why can't they wait?
Okay, so this is the question over there. I mean,
That's got to be a question. It's not.
the point of the question was,
Why wait?
he has time now. It's a chalitza. It's important for her to be.
Wait a minute.
Okay, no. Don't worry, Dala. Anyway, the halacha l'maaseh, he says mutar, but he's struggling.
Right,
What
he's
is
struggling.
Even there's not even
struggles, I
touching.
mean, what's the question?
Inanimate
She's
object.
pulling the. No,
He's wearing it.
No, but
I know.
you have to realize the
Is
type
it
of a
indirect
shoe.
contact?
the shoe is basically not a regular shoe that you just pull it. It's a special, it's called the boot.
Oh,
So
it's
she
not.
has,
Somebody brought the shoe to
Yeah,
our
we did,
class.
yeah,
Who brought
yeah.
the shoe
Oh,
to see it?
it's
It's
not
not
just
just
a
a regular shoe.
Rabbi Hamashir has one.
How I share, correct.
Ah,
So-
okay.
Right,
Oh,
it's
it's
a
a
boot.
special shoe.
It's a boot and
Special shoe.
sometimes you really have to tie, and I'm just
So
telling
we're not
you,
putting it in our line
and I'm
anyway.
telling you,
Maybe a new Harayim.
so this is
There's a
one
lot of
topic.
straps.
The other
Made in
topic,
India.
So could a man be a shoe salesman?
Yeah,
Ronnie is in the shoe business.
That's right, Ronnie. I forgot Ronnie.
Probably made in China. Anyway. The guy who married what's his name?
The
So you
second,
can never, so if your wife is in Ida, you can't help but take her shoes off.
the second topic is, this is much longer to them, longer to them.
That means Maran, I mean, Chacham Ovadia is worried about Maran. He's not so mech.
better, no,
I'm telling you, it's
no,
very
I'm מסכים איתך, but it's
I don't
clearly,
understand what you're saying that.
no, he's saying.
But the Taz is
It's
giving a
clearly-
different explanation
Because
for
of
Rambam.
that.
That
Shach,
the Shach, no, the Shach, I'm sorry, the Shach is giving me a different explanation.
No.
How we understand Rambam.
תשמע, שאלה תמיד, בדיוק,
כאן המנהג.
איסור דרבנן. תשמע, it's a מצווה דאורייתא, שעת הדחק, תשמע, the second תשובה, which is 6 pages, this one is 4 pages, you know, is the bride is a nida. Okay? So in the Ashkenazi community, I'm just telling you first before we go to it. In the Ashkenazi community, you tell the groom before she is a nida. I was witness many times, and I was told, remember, she is a nida. And Areat Mekudeshet is not placing it on the finger. She extends it. No, yeah, he puts it in her hand. He talks back and forth the same question.
Is it
Is it
okay
okay to put it on his finger or not?
That's great.
No, to put it in the hand.
He's not she's just dropping it.
Remember, the question is,
No.
the question is, he could just drop it, or
Correct.
he actually touches
Right,
the ring in the hand. Is it indirect
oh,
contact or
oh,
is it no
oh,
contact?
Or you putting the ring normally.
I know, but in the other circumstance.
לא, בסוף אומר שמותר, he says because they are not, ככה הוא אומר, because they are not, they're really not married, so, but again, he's
You're really
struggling.
not married?
No, before he said that Mukdesh.
Even then.
No, he said the fresh groom is much more attracted physically to his, remember, he's talking about people who never touched a woman before. Go now to Siman, it took me half an hour, I took out 4 ספרים יביאות, חלק ב', חלק ד', חלק ט', חלק י"ד, whatever. בכולם, you see clearly that he's worried about.
Rabbi, if this were the ring in the stand, he could just drop it
Every-
and then that comes.
Everyone agrees,
Is it-
many women are saleswomen, I mean,
Everybody
you
says
go,
that's okay.
you go to.
No, I
Yeah,
say.
exactly,
this-
this is the question.
No, talking not putting the ring on the finger, just.
Everyone
give her the-
agrees
give
to
her the
drop it,
ring.
it's mutar,
Sure, But if
because
he's
every
holding
time
it,
I go to my bakery and the 3 sales ladies happens to be Ukraine ladies, but the owner is Jewish. Every time they give you change,
Yes.
they're very drop it.
Put on the counter.
Or they put it on the counter.
but if he was touching it and he put it in her hand, is touching it,
This
that's
is not a
contact.
problem.
It's not touching.
But he said the shoe.
shoe.
We said the shoe, I wanna know.
Now, the shoe, very often she has to
Indeed.
hold
Oh.
the shoe to pull it off.
Yes,
But then
more
there is
effort.
You don't
Is it-
mahmir, you don't shake men's hands or women's hands.
So now,
Stop it.
you're good.
You're-
Sometimes I
Go-
see
go
also
to
the
see-
stores of women are wearing gloves, rubber gloves, does that help?
This
Does
is
that help?
very good. Glove.
I see the.
Imagine the woman
village stores,
coming to the
rubber
wedding.
gloves.
there
Are
with
they
the
doing it for
ring.
that reason? Are they
What?
doing it for that reason?
Look at
I think
Kufner.
so.
Look
Yeah,
at
but a
Kufner.
doctor, they, to touch. with
Oh, the
the
glove, well,
sometimes
doctors
they
always
don't
wearing
feel
gloves
that.
nowadays.
No, here was very cool. This was big. Now she frozen.
I had seen
You come again is whatever.
Well, I'm sure she was wearing gloves.
Look, what?
They all wear
Most
gloves.
likely, no,
Yeah,
for
they all wear
health,
gloves.
not because of health reasons.
Yeah, no, I'm saying for health
For
reasons.
health
But
sake.
but the point is, she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wearing
for
gloves.
sure, for sure. Look now, Larry, open סימן קנ"ז 157, כך סעיף קטן י'.
And then he puts the glove on.
Sammy, go to סימן קנ"ז, Eli, it's קנ"ז. First, let's understand the
The
background.
Harek Val Yavor?
רגע, חכה, רגע, let's
I
finish.
just want to make sure I'm on the right page.
Okay, now if you know, see, Aleph, we learned everyone learned in a million times, the three big ones, Paresia, but now look at the Shulchan Aruch, בעבודת כוכבים, גילוי עריות, יביא אצל דוד, קופנון זי.
No, we're finished.
The Kufnut Ted is the first.
Oh, sorry, I bought
That's
the
okay.
wrong
It's
bag,
fine.
okay. אוקיי, בעבודת כוכבים, גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים, אפילו בצילה, שלא בשעת הגזרה, ואפילו אין העובד כוכבים, מכוון אלא להנאתו, יהרג ולא יעבור. There's no if Shabbat, there's no commentary on this. This is Gemara. Come on, fine. Listen good to this Ramah. This Ramah has many chidushim, and the Shach is a very long Shach, and he tells us here in Kuf Tzadikei, look here. Listen carefully. Says the Ramah, David, you have the Ramah there, Vedavka? No, David, you're looking at the wrong page, David. Good. Over there, Vedavka. You see Vedavka, the page you're looking, Vedavka? Yeah, the Ramah, yeah? ודווקא כשאומרים לו לעשות מעשה, כגון, שאומרים לאיש לגלות ערווה, או שיהיה ערב, okay? They are forcing a man to have a relationship with a woman, otherwise they would kill him, has to be killed, fine. אבל, לא, בעריות,
Even private. Free in
this
private.
is what the Shulchan Aruch said.
He has to be killed, you're saying.
Shulchan Aruch says,
אם הוא יעבור,
tell the page. Read now the bold print. The bold, you read it, I'm not reading. You read. No, don't rush you. עבודת, אפילו, what you read before is שאר מצוות, not עבודה זרה. In the beginning, he talks about שאר מצוות. Now listen good. אבל אם אונסים אישה לבוא עליה, Esther, good, okay. Or, I mean, hundreds of beautiful Hungarian women in Holocaust when the Germans wanted them to move to the houses, this is fine. או שרוצים להשליחו על תינוק להורגו. We want to push you. You're not killing the baby. We are pushing you. Basically passive, both cases. Okay, this is a famous מחלוקת. תוספות על רמב"ם, okay. או שהוא כבר מוקשה. A man is already erected. ורוצים לאנוס אותו לערווה. אין צריך להרג. Did you ever think about it? How come a man has to buy בגילוי עריות and a woman not? Because by a man, when he is forced to have a relationship, if his brain is cold, it will not be erected. The fact that you're erected, this is your maaseh. Says if the man happens to be erected, therefore say, fine, whatever. Oh, but it's to drive the point. Fine. Let's continue. Now, says the Ramah, David, listen good to the Ramah now. The call is so עבודת כוכבים וגילוי עריות ושפיכות דמים, אף על פי שאין בו מיתה, even if it's not direct worshiping the idol, רק לאו בעלמא, אוקיי? צריך להרוג ולא לעבור, אוקיי? What is it saying? There are many accessories that are labeled as שפיכות דמים או גילוי עריות. The famous case we spoke many times, the Gemara. The man has, we mentioned it yesterday, the man has a heart disease. He's not looking at this woman naked, right? This is not Gilui Arayot, this is Avizerayot, the Gilui Arayot, and the Gemara says, Yared v'lo ya'amor. This is what the Ramah says. He copies the Gemara. Look now the Shach, a very big Shach. Shach, see the Shach Yud? רק לאו בעלמא, even though the איסור on the book is not us. Right? It's not a יהרג ולא יעבור. It's אביזריים, the name is אביזריים. Listen, go to the shop. יאמרינן בש"ס, I told you, מעשה באדם אחד שנתן עיניו באישה אחת, והעלה ליבו תינאי, developed heart disease, ואמרו הרופאים, אין לו תקנה עד שתיבהל, אמרו לך, ימות. תעמוד לפניו ערומה, ימות, ואל תעמוד. תספר עמו מאחורי הגדר, ובוודאי שדברים אלו אינם גילוי עריות ממש, to stand naked, אלא שעובר בהם, release now, בלא תקרבו לגלות ערווה. If the woman stands naked to you, and this is what saves you, הוא עובר, לא תקרבו לגלות ערווה, שהוא לאו, בגילוי עריות. כן כתב הר"ן, והנימוקי יוסף, סוף פרק סורר ובורר. Listen carefully what now the Shach speaks. If I'm giving you an introduction, if you follow the Ramban, why is Yamut velo? According to the Ramban, if the guy is crazy and he wants to see the woman naked, pursue the Rabbanan. Lama Yamut.
What's the problem?
Says the Shach here, ולפי זה משמע יסביר עליה כהרמב"ם בספר מניין המצוות 53. Now he copies the Rambam we saw yesterday. והזהיר הכתוב להתקרב אל אחת מהעריות ואפילו ברוביה. כגון חיבוק ונישוק. Understand, says the Shach, the woman standing naked to him, like a young man hugging and kissing a young woman, yes? והדומה להם, this is exactly what he's saying.
It's over the line.
והדומה להם מהפעולות הזרות. והוא אומרו באזהרה, איש כל שאר, so remember, the Shach says, I read the Rama follows the Rambam. You realize it contradicts himself because we saw in Siman Kuf Tzadikei the opposite. The Kuf Tzadikei told us that the doctor or a husband can do it if there's no one. If he is right in his analysis, you realize, of course, he's going to say, yes. He continues, אבל, אוקיי, וכן כתב, הסמג, הרעב, החינוך, והכתר באזהרה, איש שכל שאר בשרו לא תקרבו, וכן כתב, הסמג, אוקיי, bring all this, אבל הרמב"ן, בהשגות שלו, ספר מניין המצוות, which we saw yesterday, חלק על הרמב"ן, ואומר, שאין מלכים מן התורה אלא בביאה גמורה, physical relationship, או בהרעה, the beginning of, אוקיי, אין שם, והרב גיליון, you wanted to know who is the guy, מגילת אסתר, he's always defending the Rambam, והרב גיליון, בספר מגילת אסתר, סתר את כל דברי הרמב"ן,
What is Satar?
takes it to a piece, opposite, ואלה כהרמב"ם, says now the Shach,
he take it to pieces, meaning he disagrees with
he
the
strongly
Rambam.
agrees with the Rambam against the Ramban.
That's what we're talking about.
וכן יראה לי מאח עובדה דעלה ליבו. Okay, עד כאן we hear. Now listen good what he's saying. מכל מקום משמע, the Shach repeats what we read today, בכל מקום משמע, ואף הרמב"ם לא כאמר, אלא כשעושה חיבוק ונישוק, דרך חיבת ביאה. Now we listen to a proof we didn't see it. Again, even the Rambam, says the Shach, is only when he does it derech chibat biyah. Unlike the husband taking the poles of his wife, realize. What's his proof, Sammy? שהרי מצינו בש"ס בכמה דוכתי שהאמוראים היו מחבקים ומנשקים לבנותיהם. Each one of you kissed his daughter, hugged her, ואחיותיהם, the sisters. What gives you the right to do it? I mean, forget now.
Because it's a whole different idea.
He's asking, the
Mother
daughter
and
is
son,
about to
any
do
of
it.
these.
So you, וכן כתב הרב ארי ליאון שם בהדיא, וכן משמע להדיא ממה שכתב הרמב"ם, now he goes to the רמב"ם, ריש פרק, כ"א בהלכות איסורי ביאה, כל הבא לעריות דרך איברים, או שחיבק ונשק דרך תאווה ונהנה בקירוב בשר, הרי זה לוקה מן התורה. וכן כתב הסמג, כתר תורה עלמא, אינו לוקה אלא בדרך תאווה וחיבת ביאה. Same here. וזהו, וזהו, זה לא כבית יוסף לקמן, סוף סימן קצ"ק, אלא במישוש הדופק באשתו נידה. If the Beit Yosef told us not to take your wife's spoils, there's no chibah, there's nothing there. But the Shach says, I disagree with the Beit Yosef on the interpretation of the Rambam. If the Beit Yosef says, assume, משמע שלמד ברמב"ם, assume מן התורה, אני really what? אומר, I am learning, and I'm using this example of the Amoraim kissing the daughters or the granddaughters, whatever.
Rabbi, he still didn't answer for the Rama, right? The Rama, we still need to answer.
No, so he wants to say that the Rama would go even according to the Rambam, because וזהו שלא כבית יוסף, גם במישוש הדופק באשתו נידה, עולה. Okay? Okay, so.
Rabbi, I was saying it's
What?
analogous, a man's wife to take a pulse the same like his grandmother? Or are they analogous?
This is not the same, but
That's
what
okay,
they
it's
are.
not okay.
Yeah, no, Allah just saying.
Yeah.
He's concluding that the Rama is not with the
He is
Ramban.
saying that even the Rambam, the deal of the Rama can work even according to the Rambam.
Yeah.
Because if you are definitely doing it because she needs it, because there is a trace of sakana, so even though it's in Sud Rabbanan, it's mutar.
So, but this story of the crazy person needs to see the girl, is it a good proof? Because if you go through different steps, you end up with, he just wants to talk to her. And then they say, no, you had
Well, he
and
leaves another.
then they say, "Kavod ha'priyot."
Where's it going?
So why should we take a proof from the first step and not, and then continue down and answer Kavod ha'priyot to the whole thing?
And so he's asking a good question.
What could lead to?
So the answer is that
Like, don't go there, so to speak.
the answer we have a Sanhedrin.
Even the Gemara
No,
back.
good, good, no,
off.
no, sir, but you have to,
Why are you going
you
to
know, you have to read inside to answer it, to understand this answer. The Gemara says like this, Bishlama, if she was an Eshet Ish, the Gemara says, well, no problem. If she was a
Single.
Penuya,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? So the Gemara says, we are obligated to protect the dignity of Jewish women. Yamut. So the older Rishonim, wait a minute, if she an Eshet Ish, it's only to talk to her. This is Israel, you understand this, to protect the dignity of women.
Right,
What is
Only
it?
if
What is it? She's a
single.
goya.
Right, so I shouldn't be able to use it as a proof because I should use that even for the married
I
woman.
know, but I know. This
You know
is
what I
only
mean? Extended.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
What about if it's a goya?
It makes a difference if it's Jewish or not. Because the issue is on the men.
So you wanna say, you like, the whole thing should be covered with
The
video.
issue
That's
is.
what I'm saying, yeah.
There's no word covered. Kavod of the dignity of women. Kavod of blood.
Not the Yod,
Jewish
of
woman is not a
Bat
factor.
Yisrael, you're right, sorry.
So
Goya should be easier, not be that, no, something like
Oh,
that.
wait a minute.
Why, not touching it?
But no, but as far as the men, he's saying, there's no, the name is there by, here, I have the Gemarot Brachot, but it's 5 to
Rabbi, and when I am kissing your sisters, we were talking about a married sister.
It makes a difference.
Today,
Yes,
Today, they're-
Because today,
Mahmir on this, right?
because
Every
every
community is Mahmir.
every
Most of them are
the different is also in the time of the Gemara, single girls used to go to the mikveh because they have to eat truma, they have to eat other stuff. Today, every single woman is a nidah. You know, there's a difference.
All right, so.
So where does
but
nidah
in
hold? There's no
Moraim, kissing-
nidah between with a mother and a child, there's a nidah between brothers and sisters.
The brothers and sisters are the same level as nidah. because
They are.
rayot.
So where's it no nidah? There's no nidah between a son and a mother or a father and a daughter.
Yeah, yeah. Mahmoud, right.
If it's a story,
Rabbi Prague?
That's
No,
what
but it's good. It's good. You know, we are lenient.
Rabbi Prague, does every time he touches his wife, does he get, is that he's over love? Let's say it's a day, he touches her 4 different times.
What comes out, it's a machloket Rambam and Rambam. This is the bottom line.
Also, okay, also that if, is this lav or this doraisa is equivalent to Lashon Hara?
The answer is yes or no.
I mean, because you know what, you spend 14 days with all the permutations, and and Lashon Hara. I mean, you find the most
So
extreme.
you're grabbing it from Sammy. Sammy was about to ask the same question.
I mean, it's a logical question. She spent hours about Nida if she has a dofek not. But meanwhile, I'll go tonight. I'll say, you know, my partner, he's an idiot. Okay, Mela. So it's not. I mean, what do we focus on? I mean, it's.
But we are focusing on a package. It's not that this is what Judaism is about.
On Yom Kippur, my scale, I should only have my.
I'm going to give you an example. Listen to this. You don't give me ballpark Williams phone. I took once, I took out my iPhone, which the school forced me to have, and I saw two kids whispering to each other. So in Yiddish, it says,
What's going on? What's going on?
they didn't say it, but they meant to say, Mr. Shagetz, I'm new iPhone. They are raised, they should
Yeah.
Borough Park.
Williams, I have a man, I have a man that comes to my shul for many years. His kid, I went to the bar mitzvah. The kid was in the bar mitzvah with a hat, long jacket.
Yeah.
He says to me last year, in the summer, kid exposed him to certain sites on the internet. And overnight, the kid is out.
Once you saw it, you cannot see it. Oh my God.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed. For months and months, the father, and he says to my father, I know it's wrong. It's in my head.
I'm stuck.
So,
Meaning what? He can't be religious anymore? What?
no,
He got
no,
affected by it. He keeps thinking
his
about
mind
Islam.
is thinking about Islam.
Oh,
Because he was so sure.
Triggered,
He comes, the father stops coming to my shul. I call him up and says,
What's the
so
story?
he says to me, I can't. He says, me and my wife are going crazy. No,
About the son.
son, no.
He and his wife going
This-
crazy, he
this-
can't come to your
this-
shul?
It's why.
No, the father says 24/7.
disillusioned.
Oh, his mind is going on.
Says I met all the
For the kid.
Yeah, for the kid. He says I met all the experts on that. Anyway, this week he comes.
Oh.
So I told him, he says,
What happened?
What happened?
my Tishma told me, took my son 9 months. He says he was in the streets with whatever. The son enrolled himself to yeshiva for this type of kids. Finished.
Oh,
Every class has five.
special yeshiva.
Every class, Tishma B'Shuva. The father says to me-
Deprogramming.
the father says to me like this. Now I'm saying it. Now I'm saying it to you, Larry. He says to me, I looked, and those Hasidim were so extreme with the internet, like crazy. I understand you have to put there. He says, but
Now he
after what
understands
happened to my son,
Now
I
he
understand that
understands
the only way to do it, he says you have no idea. You know?
Power.
There is a fellow that his father was with one of the big shots in Yeshiva University. He told me, I met him, I says, no, all the kids are married. He says, all of them are married happily, except one is married to a black woman. He says,
What?
Who's saying this?
Like the black
The
Hasidim.
father, no, his father was, anyway, Tishma, says, what happened? He went to Israel, learning in Bir B'Akmadag.
Ethiopian. Jewish or not Jewish?
Anyway,
I
he
have
says,
a friend who's married to an Ethiopian Jew.
in Yeshivat,
Converted to Jewish before he married her.
in Yeshivat Mir, you can't accept what he said. He had a woman that introduced him to that, out completely. Goya, התחיל לבכות. The father says to me, you know me, you know my father.
Yeah.
So there's nothing we can do. No. So this man says to me, I never understood why are they in the Hasidic circles so extreme.
Being separate.
What do you remove?
My wife had a regular iPhone. We had 2 guests for Shabbat. My first grandson and his friend. Friday afternoon, I told both of them, you have to call your parents. Upstate New York, yeah. Fine. So I give my grandson the house phone. The other guy says to my wife, can I call him? No. Me and my wife took him in with the ring. Okay, fine, you want my phone? He walks outside of the house, here's the lake. Then my wife saw that he went into.
Oh, wow. He looked online.
He went online to sell anyway. He informed all his relatives, and it took a long time. Yeah, the kid was affected. It was an amazing kid.
For the minute that they gave the phone, like the phone call, we saw something, that minute.
It took him 7 minutes to speak to his parents. His parents moved to
Yeah.
says.
I had heard the whole story. I'm in the mental health committee and the woman says,